Hello everyone. I just made a Alaskan video, but now I'm gonna make a Maryland video. What would happen if Maryland, the state right over here, that state, what if Maryland decided that they were gonna join the Russian Empire in 1913, and they went throughout the Bolshevik Revolution all the way up to modern day? What would happen, right? We're talking about like Ukraine invasion, day. So, during 1913, there was an establishment of the Federal Reserve. This is where we departure from our timeline that Maryland's actual state. It becomes a Russian Oblast, okay? Let's just be clear here. There's two timelines. Russian Oblast, U.S. state. Okay, got it. Okay. So, Maryland departures because they don't want to be under the Federal Reserve. But this is where it gets tricky. There's going to be another central government in the next couple years. There'll be a communist revolution. Like there'll be 3 revolutions in Russia, and Maryland will somehow take a part of that, and they'll join the Soviet Union. I mean, they're part of Russia, so they're also part of the Soviet Union. So now you got Washington D.C. is completely surrounded by Soviet territory. They're at the entire Cold War, and they're just ousting politicians left, right, and center, except for people in Maryland. Maryland becomes like the safe haven for the Red Scare in this alternate timeline. And then what happens is, pretty obvious. Like everything pretty much in the Cold War pretty much happened. They split Germany up the same way. The war sort of continued. This is basically the same thing for whatever reason, hypothetically, except for all the Maryland politicians. I don't know if there's any historical Maryland politicians that became president. I don't really know in that time frame. There probably was. Let's just ignore them. Let's just say there was a placement president. So anyway, all the stuff in our timeline happens, right? And then Russia collapses, or the Soviet Union, collapses. And again, Maryland was part of the Russian Empire, so historically they're part of Russia. And so that's exactly what happens. They join the Russian Federation as a Russian Oblast. They have constitutional law to keep some of the English language alive. However, because they're an Oblast, they don't get full language rights, unlike a Russian Republic. So therefore, they would ultimately phase out English, and it would be a Russian-speaking part of it's its own place. And Maryland would be part of Russia. So anyway, I thought this was a very funny and interesting scenario. I don't know if it's as funny as Liechtenstein buying Alaska, but I think the ideal that Maryland succeeds because of a stupid Federal Reserve thing, and then the Great Depression and all that stuff. I think that's kind of funny. And then communism's like the ultimate central government compared to the Federal Reserve, which is like Keynesian. It's just really funny. I think it's just so funny and so ironic in this timeline that Maryland, because its identity of let's get rid of the Federal Reserve. The Soviet Union has a Federal Reserve. Now we have to follow what the Soviet Union does. I think that's such an interesting timeline, although I don't know how realistic that is, to be honest with you. But I think it's funny. You are someone, I'm someone else, coming up with alternate timelines. I would love to see someone make a map out of this. I think it would be hilarious. You are someone, I'm someone else. Goodbye.